Most nutrition hypes today don't start in laboratories. They start on the internet. The carnivore diet is a perfect example. On podcasts, on Twitter, on YouTube. The claim: plants are unnecessary. Meat is enough. And the human body runs better without plants. I'm Dennis, German engineer and fitness coach. If you are on a carnivore diet and it works great for you, please stop watching now. Well, you have been warned. So let's run the battle. Social media versus science. Round by round, claim by claim. And we keep score. Chapter 1, Round 1. The social media evidence. Social media starts strong. The carnivore community loves one particular study. A survey of more than 2,000 people eating a carnivore diet. Median time on the diet about 14 months. The participants reported weight loss, better blood sugar control, high satisfaction, and surprisingly few side effects. If you stop reading here, carnivore looks like a massive success story. Social media immediately declares victory. Scoreboard. Social media 1 point. Science 0. But the engineer's question comes next. What exactly are we measuring? This study did not recruit random people. It recruited volunteers from carnivore communities. People are already committed to that diet. People who had stayed on it for months, which creates a powerful selection filter. People who tried carnivore and quit early are missing from the dataset. People who felt worse rarely stay active in carnivore groups. What remains are survivors. The people for whom the diet worked well enough to continue. Then add expectation effects. If you believe a diet will fix your health, your perception of symptoms often changes. Add placebo. Add community reinforcement. Add ketosis, which can genuinely change energy and appetite. Suddenly, the experience feels extremely convincing. But this is not a controlled experiment. It is a self-reported survey inside a motivated community. Interesting data, but weak scientific evidence. Score update. Social media 1 point. Science 1 point. Round 2. Why carnivore can feel powerful. Now science asks a more interesting question. Why do so many people feel better on carnivore at first? Because several variables change simultaneously. First variable, satiety. Meat is extremely filling, high in protein, and reduces hunger signals and spontaneous calorie intake. Second variable, carbohydrates drop close to 0. Insulin levels fall, fat oxidation increases. Many people enter ketosis, which can stabilize appetite and energy. Third variable, processed foods disappear. Sugar, snack foods, and refined grains vanish overnight. That alone can dramatically reduce calories. The 2026 review notes these improvements look very similar to ketogenic diet effects. Weight often drops, triglycerides improve, blood sugar can improve. In other words, the metabolic engine can run very efficiently in the short term. Score update. Social media 2 points. Science 2 points. But the real question is still unanswered. Does the whole system stay stable long term? Round 3. The evidence gap. Now we leave opinions and count the actual studies. The 2026 scientific review analyzed every human study on the carnivore diet. The number is surprisingly small. 9 studies. That's the entire human evidence base. Not 90, not hundreds. 9! Now compare that to another nutrition field. Low-carb diets, for example. Those have been tested in more than 100 randomized controlled trials. RCTs are the gold standard of nutrition science. You randomly assign people to different diets, control the variables, and measure outcomes objectively. That is how science determines whether a diet truly works. But for the carnivore diet, there are currently 0 randomized controlled trials. 0, which means the strongest level of nutrition evidence simply does not exist. So science cannot confirm the claims right now because the experiment has barely started. Score update. Social media, 2 points. Science, 3 points. Chapter 4. The Oversimplification Trap. The final mistake in the carnivore debate is oversimplification. People reduce a complex biological system to one variable. The argument usually sounds like this. Meat contains protein. Meat contains fat. Therefore, meat must be enough. But engineering systems don't work that way. 4 tires do not make a car. Tires are essential, absolutely. But a car also needs steering, cooling systems, suspension, brakes. Remove enough support systems, and the machine eventually fails. Human nutrition behaves the same way. Meat supplies several critical nutrients. That is true. But biology also relies on fiber, micronutrient diversity, and microbiome support. The 2026 review highlights several missing variables in carnivore diets. Fiber intake approaches 0. Certain micronutrients become difficult to obtain, and LDL cholesterol often rises substantially in reported carnivore datasets. Those are signals engineers pay attention to, because stable systems rarely depend on a single input. The real question is not, is meat healthy? The real question is whether removing entire food groups creates hidden weaknesses in the system. 4 tires are necessary, sure, but 4 tires still do not make a car. Final score. Social media, 2 points. Science, 4 points. Conclusion. Carnivore may produce real short-term improvements. Weight loss, better blood sugar control, lower triglycerides. But those signals are not enough to declare victory, because the scientific evidence is still extremely limited. 9 total studies, 0 randomized controlled trials. In engineering terms, we are still testing the prototype. The experiment has started, but the long-term stress test is not finished yet. And that is the difference between social media and science. Social media declares victory early. Science keeps testing. If you would like to compare science versus results in the gym, please check out this video right here.